Finally! Steel Ball Run is here.
I don't know, man. I just don't want to see it rushed.
Oh look! Someone left some oranges.
Don't pick those up. Oranges mean death. Haven't you ever seen The Godfather? Everyone dies when they see an orange.
Oh come on, there's a few here. Like 7 of them.
Oh no. It's still April. We need to run.
What?
Now!
Why are we running?
To avoid... Oh no! Avert your eyes! Crap!
I can't! They're making me watch! Ah!
So I finally watched Your Lie in April. In my opinion... Yeah, one of the few animes to not only get popular, but not be another action-adventure fantasy anime. Yeah, every anime season, there's always one shonen manga anime that's always peak. Don't get me wrong, I like some of these. But after having so many burgers of different flavors, you just need to have something different, like a salad or something. Your Lie in April is that palate cleanser. What's a good apt metaphor for this?
Remember? I promised you some canapés.
Thank you, Kousei. Yeah, that works. Okay, enough praise. What is this manga turned anime about? Your Lie in April, or Shingotsu wa Kimi no Usa, is about Kousei Arima, a piano prodigy whose life is dominated by music and rigid training under his strict mother. After her death, he suffers a psychological breakdown and loses the ability to hear the piano, even though his hearing is perfectly fine. He gives up playing altogether, living a colorless and emotionally numb life. That is, until a childhood friend invites him to tag along on a double outing with this girl because she likes watery and she's also a musician. Everything changes when he meets Kaori Miyazono, a free-spirited and passionate violinist. Her bold playing style and vibrant personality begin to draw Kousei back into the world of music and color. By the way, a bit of warning, if you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you go read or watch the anime manga yourself. Yeah, this is one of those type of media. It's not going to be undercut like Neverland in Season 2, or have a completely different ending like Fullmetal Alchemist, the first one. The manga and anime are pretty much one-to-one. The only difference I could see where, because it's a book, we could expand on a few characters a bit, but nothing really substantial. Also the books, at least the omnibus, they did actually give a little bit of history behind the musical piece, either going into the history, technique, or where it started and how it ended up here. All from music professors at Japanese universities. That's neat, and you have a bit of trivia on something outside the manga and anime. Also, technically an advantage over the anime, but I do feel the need to bring it up here. The drawings and dialogue make this manga flow like water, and when the kids are playing their pieces, it does try to deliver on the emotion and weight behind the music of each stroke of the pen. But as much as it tries, it's still a book that tries to sound like this, but unfortunately, sounds like this. It's not your fault, it's the medium. The medium is the message. And lucky for Naoshi Arakawa, he got the mangaka dream of getting his made into an anime. Yes, the man who brought you Your Lie and Emotional Damage in April, Naoshi Arakawa. Born in the countryside of Japan, he was exposed very early on to Shonen Jump manga. He eventually decided to become a manga artist, but because of his conservative town and shy personality, didn't really tell anyone. He started as an assistant making his debut with the manga, A School Frozen in Time. It ran for about 2 years. After that, he worked on a manga called Sayonara Football, the foot one, not the hand one. After saying sayonara to Sayonara Football, the next one he wanted to be more music based, and so he submitted a one-shot, and it failed. To find inspiration, he took a story that he submitted in an earlier one-shot, and combined the two to create Your Lie in April that we all know, cry, and fear over. It was also because they had another music-based manga that they didn't want to flood the market or dry them out. So the manga they didn't want to be infighting was Beck, which focused more on rock music. And so he had to switch over to classical music. But he also needed it to stand out more because Nodami Kantibile was another classical music manga. But that ran for 8 years and focused on all things classical. Your Lie in April would only focus on one. So Your Lie in April came into being with all the musical technicals and little notes about the piano. On top of being a manga artist, he could also play an instrument or having musical theory under his belt, right? No! Nope. When asked, he didn't have any idea on the classical music. He just shrugged. He was more of a metalhead, into Iron Maiden, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, the works. Beck would have been perfect for him. So, editor's note, I have a lot of Japanese names to say, and some I already butchered into saying it. Probably gonna screw up a few more here. I'm just gonna do this for the name so you can at least see it in case I screw up the name, which I probably will. Anywho, back to the regular scheduled program. So if no musical prodigy or prowess, or even basic theory, how did you write this? Well, Arakawa interviewed composer Akinori Osawa and pianist Masanori Tsukuno, and photograph pianist Kaori Yamazaki and violinist Riko Akita to aid him in his descriptions of classical music. He also read a ton of books on music and asked his editor, who had some violin experience. Oh, don't worry, we will come back to you later. So he was originally going to focus on one instrument, but opted for two, mostly for technical reasons. Two violinists on stage was difficult to draw and also a little boring. He wanted some diversity in his instruments, I guess. He did decide the girl would be the violinist after seeing one on TV, and by the third volume, they had a deal for an anime. Produced by A1 Pictures, they currently have Sword Art Online in solo leveling under their belt, so that's a plus. But they also have 7 Deadly Sins. The show, not the actual sin. Although I would say 7 Deadly Sins is the 8th secret sin of the world. What was I talking about? Alright, Lying in April. They are known for their high quality animation and emotionally resonant storytelling, most of the time. A1 Pictures brought this romantic drama to life with meticulous attention to detail. The series was directed by Koei Ishiguro, written by Takeo Yoshioka, and featured a musical score composed by Masura Yokoyama. It originally aired in Japan from October 10th, 2014 to March 20th, 2015, spanning 22 episodes. Aniplex producer Shizuko Saito offered Kensuke Teishi at Kodan Show an opportunity to produce an anime adaptation of the series. The original offer was for 11 episodes, but that got up to 22 in order to tell the full, complete story. Saito gave the directing job to Ishiguro because he had worked with Ishiguro on the 7th episode of Wandering Sun. For the OPs and the end songs, they chose Goose House and Waki to perform them, in order to appeal to those that don't watch anime. Make sense of that what you will. Color Mode was chosen for a song with a colorful melody to match the animation. I'm not going to go into detail about the opening, but if you want to look into that, Mother's Basement already beat me to it like 5 years ago. This is mainly my critique on it, but with that said, what is my opinion on it? I do like how it starts with Arima and Kaori meeting being a big misunderstanding, being tricked to go into a music competition, where even though it's been 2 years, he is still well known on the scene. Apparently he had the nickname the Human Metronome, because he would play each song exactly note for note, but with no soul in it. And then Kaori performs her song, but she's doing her own thing, and the judges do not like that. Kaori, being an extrovert, wants Arima to be her accompanist, but he refuses, being the introvert that he is. Eventually wearing him down, stalking him, harassing him, he finally agrees to be in the competition. Of course, getting back into the game, he needs to practice with Kaori, but her free-spirit styling with his mechanical playing clash with each other. They finally make it to the competition, but on top of trying to get outside his mechanical playing, internally, he has to deal with not being able to hear the piano. Nothing wrong with his hearing, just internal struggle with grief over his dead mother, who also likes to appear as an omen when he starts playing. He does manage to push through, but Kaori collapses. After that, they do have him enter a solo pianist competition, this time with arch rivals from the past, where he does finally start to get over his mother's death, realizing that her strict regimen was out of love, to leave something behind for him when she's gone. He didn't make the cut, but he has begun to heal. I do like the subtle changes when she appears, first looking like the ring girl in a wheelchair, but as he starts to heal, so does his perception of her, eventually revealing her eyes. Kaori and Kousei decide to enter another competition, practicing with each other while also growing closer. The day of the competition is here, and Kaori is nowhere to be seen. He still performs, only this time, his mother Sake is not there as an omen anymore. As it turns out, Kaori was a no-show because she collapsed at home. They visit her in the hospital, and then a little high school drama. People breaking up, people deciding on what schools to go to next, all while Sabaki feels like she's being left behind. And then this happens.
Wanna kill yourself with me?
So now Kousei is being weird after being asked that. Understandable. All while training for a competition, dealing with his friends, and teaching the little sister of his rival, Takeshi. Oh yeah, The little sister of one of his rivals asked him and his teacher for piano lessons in time for a school festival. The last 4 episodes is where a lot of the drama comes in, so if you don't want any spoilers, now's the time to leave. Second warning, I already warned you. Otherwise, we will continue. So Kaori opts in for the surgery, even though it's risky. She doesn't care and wants to give it her all. While she's doing that, Kousei gives his all practicing on the piano non-stop. The day of the competition arises, and all 3 rivals share an egg sandwich. They get to know why those sandwiches are so good. Takeshi performs and realizes that Kousei is more of his hero than his rival. Later on, Tsubaki, who can tell that Kousei is in love with Kaori, confesses her love for him after kicking him in the shins. Kousei finally tells Ryoto that he likes Kaori, but Ryoto already knew. But Love Our Swirl is interrupted after a dramatizing scene of Kaori going into cardiac arrest. Even more traumatizing of Kousei finding an injured cat and getting it to the vet. His hands covered in cat's blood. Yeah, this anime really likes cats, from showing up randomly to even being in the opening. I mean, Arima did have a similar cat named Chelsea when younger, but the mom got rid of it so he could focus on the piano. And the cat showing up when Kaori is mentioned, or she shows up, even her stationery has cats. So I think it's safe to say the cat is foreshadowing the future. After a pep talk from Hiroko, Kousei returns to school and goes to visit Kaori in the hospital with Canales. He carries her up to the roof as it starts snowing. In an emotional scene, Kaori pretends to play the violin but collapses shortly after, finally breaking down after putting up a front of positivity throughout the year. Wanting Kousei to be with her for her surgery, and she will be there for him. This sounds familiar.
Kaori! Remember what you said before? I'm always with you too.
She just doesn't want to face it alone. So Kousei goes and gives a show-stopping performance. Even Kaori is there. Oh no. Yeah, this scene is a powerful one and does its job. The place you saw in the opening in the beginning, and because I need my Kingdom Hearts fix, this place looks like that place in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm calling this, Chirpy?
The name's Chirithy, and this is the final world.
Thank you, Muppet. So yeah, jokes aside, this is where the anime pulls out all the stops. More facial features and movement, amazing music, a performance on par with something I would see in Fantasia, even bringing out the hand-painted stills. They even switch up the line work to brown and glowing, all ending in a bittersweet ending that we all saw coming, even the cat knew, but it still pulls at your heartstrings. Between her worsening health and subtle clues like missing school and a small scene where she's taking many pills in the bathroom for her illness in the beginning, we saw it coming, but we're still heartbroken by the end of it. Even begging for her to stay, but can only watch as Arima's music plays. Then seeing her disappear into the ether, leaving Kousei emotionally healed, but sad. The last 15 minutes is basically Kaori's goodbye in the form of a letter and photo, telling him that she always loved him and the only lie she ever told was the one that brought them together. Damn, even when it's in the damn title, I'm still surprised by it. I think I thought the lie was Tsubaki's lie to get him there, but it was hers. It was her all along. That's some L levels of manipulation right there. Going back to the first episode, it does confirm it with her crying, and you thought it was because Arima's antics. And so, we close this series with the line, "A spring is coming, a spring without you is coming." So the ending, they were afraid they were going to change it, make it more Disney-esque, but instead, the director wanted it kept that way. Naoshi did have one purpose for this ending. It was to make his editor cry. Yeah, get back in here, you. We do have confirmation that it did indeed make him cry. Weird motivation, but okay. Now, a little sacrilegious, but I do have some notes. The first is, I didn't really like Now being there. Not that she's bad, but should have been introduced in episode 1, and maybe choose not to go to the music hall. Plus with the poster showing these 4, and then this other girl who's also there, kinda makes her seem out of place or not part of the group, but an acquaintance. I do wish that they gave more development to the 2 rivals. I would have had maybe an episode or 2 of them outside the competition, give a look into their world and their struggles. We actually have more development of Takeshi's sister than him, if I'm being honest. I do like Hiroko, and her daughter who just kinda does whatever she wants to, and having a niece who's 3, can confirm. They do that. I also would have liked more Ryoko, maybe hang out with Takeshi, kill 2 birds with 1 stone in character development. And Tsubaki, while she can be whiny, and also hurts Kousei a few times, I feel like the more emotional scenes, they work out fine. I will give credit that they do give plenty of scenes where Kaori and Arima are alone together, from Courage Bridge, to the Fireflies, to shopping. You need little moments like that, so the big ones can pay off. The animation, I do feel can cut a few corners, like showing a whole bunch of flashbacks to save on redraws, but as long as they could pull off an Invincible Season 3 and show where the money goes, I feel like it will pay off. And it does. with the ending being one to be memed to death when April comes around. That's how you know you have something special, when every other person memes about it. The animation has two noticeable speeds, either meticulous detail in the instrument and playing, or usual comedic over-the-top antics for comedy. And yes, they did have Kaori Yamazaki and Ryoko Ikeda playing the piano or violin for reference. They did use some 3D work, but only for the 360 shots of the instruments. The subtle animation on Kaori's hair is a cheap one, but it is a nice little touch, going from golden blonde to a color between blonde and gray to show her illness affecting her and worsening. And, side note, I did force my parents to watch this, their first anime together. My dad, who's a huge music nerd, was intrigued with all the little details that they put into it. In all 22 episodes, he only managed to spot one wrong movement on the keys, but one mistake in 500 minutes of animation is damn impressive. But I think it's time for the big debate, sub or dub. While the sub will usually be better because it was written in that language, sometimes either because of hard work or luck, sometimes the dub can't surpass. I watched the dub first, then the sub, and can say the sub is only slightly better. The dub, because it's bound to the script, it can only stray so far. It's not Dragon's Maid weird feminism bad, but some words they chose feel like they were pulling words out of the thesaurus sometimes, and some of the dialogue in the sub hits harder. I think I understand why this series has lived on. While other romance anime are usually trying to push the two together and prioritizes the lightheartedness and fluff, this series delves into the darker aspects of relationships and the power of art to cope with trauma. The series grapples with complex themes of loss, healing, and the power of art to overcome personal trauma. This is a departure from your typical happy endings and straightforward love stories found in many other romance animes. It's genre mixing, romance, slice of life, drama, bittersweet. One episode we're shooting off fireworks, the next we are asking awkward questions. The anime explores themes of personal growth, the acceptance of loss, finding a path forward. The characters' journeys are not just about the romance, but also finding their place in the world, overcoming their past, and moving forward, even in the face of adversity. But remember, while one started out liking the other one, she did not push on wanting to go out with him and just wanted to play with him. And Kousei was living, but not to his fullest, because he never dealt with his mother's death. The two form a relationship that you see evolve more and more as time goes on. You want to see these two together, play together, once more, just one more time, to be together, and you do, but only in the briefest of tearful moments. As far as any more Your Lie in April to see, well, as me and the internet have said, the ending is perfect, and you don't want to cheapen it with a sequel. Isn't that right, Disney? We will do live action adaptation though, but that's it. But that doesn't mean there's not more to explore. We do have an OVA and manga that explores the characters a little bit more in depth when they were kids. It does give me a little bit more insight into the rivals' backstories a little bit. So I got my wish on that. Not really necessary viewing or reading, but it's all I got if you want to see more of these characters. So, overall, Your Lie in April. Is it worth the hype? Duh, yes. Like I said, it's memed every year. You don't do that for stuff you hate. You only joke about things you actually care about. The ending, even if you see it coming, you are not prepared for when it does eventually hit you. Music nerds will love all the music to Chopin, to Beethoven, to Mozart, to Rachmaninoff. It breaks you, heals you, reminds you it's okay to feel deeply. If you ever loved, lost, or dreamed, this one's for you. So, not my first anime, but it is my first TV series one. What do you think? Will Kaori come back to haunt us next year? Probably. My next anime one is going to be Jellyfish Princess, I believe. But that one's not coming out till June. Are there any others you want to see? I did say I was going to get to Kiki's delivery service, and Kiki comes at the end of May, so I'll probably do that one. Anyway, Japan. Out!